Hello guys, welcome once again to our channel. So today we're gonna be talking about Jessica's response to Chris. Remember the last episode of Ready to Love? There was this combative stuff going between the two of them, and there was a blow up during the time they were to tell people that he was removed from the show because he was not ready to love. There was explosion. So she went on her YouTube channel where she hosted Sierra and she talked about everything on the show and what really happened. So firstly, before we go ahead, let's just play what she had to say about what was what really happened between them during that period when she told him he was not ready to love and he was thereby of the show.
And we started.
Hug was so brief.
Listen, I was raised to have manners. So he comes in, he sits down, and I said, let's just have a conversation.
Yeah.
Like, elimination aside, let's just have a conversation. Because remember, I told production, I don't plan to speak to him after the date because at our friend date, I had called him after the friend date and was like, hey, just calling to check in. Because remember, I said the energy was just off. Like, it was just, he came in with attitude.
You said that during the
exactly. I said, he came in with attitude. So I called and I said, is everything okay? I called, I was like, how's your day? Blah, 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 stuff. And then I said, well, I was just checking because your energy not. So you didn't even care about my day. You didn't really ask me. You was just doing a build up to ask your question. You could have just asked. And I'm like, why are you upset? Why are you screaming?
Okay, I got into it before then.
It happened before then on the phone. And so I was like, let me make sure that I can get this to where someone else is, able to hear it, because if not, it'd be quickly my word versus yours, right? So that was it. So after that conversation, that's when I was like, I'm officially done. We had our lounge the next day. I was like, nope, this is not going to work. I'm done with this. I don't want to talk to him anymore, blah, blah, blah. So that was the end. So when he comes in, I said, let's have a conversation because we've not spoken since then. Okay, so let's have. So we sit down, we had the conversation, and I wouldn't say it's a lot of back and forth, but it was, like he was like, well, I wasn't really connecting with you because I was focused on my other connections. And I was like, sir, I had been your number one connection all the way up into this particular point, right? So we went through that, and then it went through, it was just more conversation, like back and forth. And so then he he repeated something back to me that was said in the ladies' lounge. So, the ladies' lounge and this date was the same day. So we filmed all this in the same day.
Right.
And so what he said to me was something that was said in the ladies' lounge. I don't talk to him on the phone. Janelle doesn't talk to him on the phone.
So that was reported back.
So it had somebody had already came back and told you something, because when he said it back to me, I was like, that's an interesting choice of words. Like, I know how I talk, and I know when I heard it, I knew exactly where it came from. And I said to him, that's your source? Like, that's the person who's been running you information about what's said in the lounge? Because you could have just asked me this and we could have cleared this up a long time ago. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not that deep. Because
what was it?
Conspire. It said, oh, so you and Janelle conspiring to get me kicked off the show. And so when he said it in the thing, he said, and so yeah, you and your girl Janelle conspiring to get rid of me.
Wow.
And I was like, that's an interesting choice of words for you. And then he just looked like dead shot, like, yeah, you've been busted. Now I had already suspected it, but now it's confirmed. I knew you were getting something with something. Because if you're not talking to someone, because we weren't even really talking like during our dates, right? There would be no reason for you to always come heated, like, coming with this kind of disposition all the time. And even then, the only 3 things I ever said about was, you're not consistent, which I've said 45 times on camera. I said the comment about not wanting to date someone who's the biggest in their circle, and I stand on that. I don't. I said that in there as well too. And then the other conversation was too, I wanted to create some distance because what they were telling me on the phone and even a text message that I have and how they were showing up on camera were 2 different things, right? And so I'm like, if this is a situation where you just need to kick it with somebody until you get to the end, fine. You could have said that. right? But if don't try
Which
to
is
fake
fun
it,
to me.
huh?
Nothing.
Yeah, if you're trying to build a connection, to build a connection. But I shouldn't just hear from you on interview days and on date days. Like I'm talking to Marie consistently throughout the process. I only talk to you this day, that day, and each conversation is minutes or a text. So it shouldn't be like that. So these are all things that are running around, that are ruminating in my mind when we're having this conversation. And it's very indicative of the behavior that I'm starting to see with this person consistently over and over. It's not consistent, right? So we're having that conversation. We're sitting there and talking, and I can see that he's getting irritated, right? So I stopped talking and I let him talk, right? And so he goes through this whole thing of, I'm carrying Nigeria on my back and my whole country depends on me. And, you didn't know that my father was deceased and how his father became deceased. That's his business, so I'll never share that. But, how that came about. And my mother's deceased, you know what I'm saying? So I understand. Yeah, thank you. I understand what that pain is like.
Yeah,
it's like
different type of pain.
it hits different. Like there is no, even during this process, the one person I wanted to call and vent and scream. So then he, says F you and everything about you, whatever, whatever. He stands up in that moment. Production walks over and stands in front of him and walks him out of that thing. When he stands up, he's walking out, okay? They bring him, we waited about 15, 20 minutes. They talk to him outside because he's very upset, whatever, whatever. Then they reset and redo the latter half of the scene. They bring him back in.
We're taking on air.
Exactly. They bring him back into scene and say, oh, okay, so what happened, let's pick up here. And they were like, are you okay to move forward? Listen, that's fine. But he literally stood up, and that's when they came in and was like, okay, we're going to hold. And then she walked him out. That's exactly what happened. Like, I have it. So it is what it is. So then we went through that piece. And then afterwards, we kept going and came back in. We picked up from there and continued to do the conversation, whatever, whatever, whatever. And then in that conversation, he says, because I said, are you okay? Are you better?
Right.
Are you finished?
Right.
And he was like, yeah. I said, okay, let's move forward. Like, I'm back to business. Let's move forward, right? And so we moved forward from that conversation. And so he says, can you hurry up and tell me what it is Tommy wanted you to say so that I can go ahead and go? And in that moment is when I say, well, the ladies have sat down and decided
because it was so
you were
choppy.
not ready to love. So that's how that all went out. He had jumped up and, got out of his chair. Whatever word they want to use, your butt left that pine. You were standing up.
So she kind of explained a lot of things that happened. But one thing we know for sure is that she confirms that there was really a chopping and editing, cutting, joining, production was really producing on that scene because she said he walked out, went out probably to cool off, then came back in. So they did a lot of, because we know when watching it, we saw the conversations were not really going according to how it was supposed to go. Now, people were alleging that she put up on Twitter, although I don't know, allegedly, I didn't see the tweet. People were alleging that she put on Twitter that there was chairs being thrown by Chris. I never saw the tweet, so I can't for sure say that. But people were alleging she said that. But in this, if she really did say that, in the narration she was giving on her YouTube channel, she didn't say anything about him throwing chairs. The only thing she talked about is that he got so pissed off, he walked off to cool himself out. And if he really did say, oh, I'm a Niger prince, I got Nigeria on my back, I'm like, does he really have Nigeria on his back? Like, does he really have Nigeria on his back? Because as if you watch my review on the episode, I said something. I said the both of them are both combative. The word that Chris used on Jessica could also be used on him. Because if we go from this narration of how he got pissed off, he was, now being proud, saying about how he's a Niger king, how he's a Niger prince, and whatsoever, Niger got his back or he's got Niger back or whatever. That shows that He became prideful, he became agitated, he became argumentative. And that is the same thing he has accused Jennifer of. Now he fled up when Jennifer was telling him his own wrongdoing. The thing. I said it on when we did the review for the episode. I said the thing is that nobody on this earth would be happy. Absolutely nobody will be happy to stay and listen to somebody else tell you about your character, especially the bad ones. Nobody would stay smiling when you tell them about your bad, when people tell you about your bad character, you will not stay smiling. That is the truth. So now that they reverse they did a Uno reverse on him, and now she's telling him about how bad his character is, he's pissed off. He became the same combative that he accused her of being. Meanwhile, Sierra said something in which I want to play what she said because I believe. Although, oh, sorry, I really don't have that clip. But she said something in the interview. If you go watch the full interview on Jessica's page, big ups to Jessica. I got these clips from Jessica's sorry, I think YouTube channel. Yeah, YouTube channel. She said that sometimes people become combative after you have been accused of it.
Exclusive. Asking him. I want to make sure because she was like, "You have a gray area. Like I want it to be black and white. Did you or did you not say it?" And he yet again he did still lie and say act like he just never heard the word combative in his life, and that's just what that was. But now everybody's like, okay, so he maybe he okay he did say it, but you are combative. It went from oh I didn't say that and defending that point to now it's like oh as a matter of fact well
Now, in this part, she was literally saying that sometimes we become combative after people tell you you're combative. Sometimes we react to what people are saying to us. So it might be that at that moment, Jessica reacted combative because she has already been called combative. And for the ladies in the lounge, especially Kat, that went on a rant on a convention. I was like, oh, even if he said it, he didn't say it, you were combative, so you're combative, change your character. That was wrong. I wasn't a fan of Kat after she said that. I wasn't a fan of Kat after she said that because at the end of the day, you have no right to judge Jessica. You've never had that conversation with Jessica. You've never had that experience with Jessica. She hasn't reacted combative to you. So because of somebody you like, I said it before, Jessica Kat always puts up for the men she likes. Just because somebody you like said, oh, this lady is combative, you have no right to judge. I haven't had that combative experience with you. Speak on your experience with me because everybody has different experience with one person. The way I express myself to you is different by the way I express myself to another person. Everybody has a different experience when it comes to how a particular person handles their friendship or relationship or whatever ship that you are in. So don't judge a person because of one person decides and say, oh, she's combative. Okay, fine. She's combative. Yes, she must be combative. Meanwhile, she hasn't been combative to you at all. And that is where the part I blame Kat. Because Kat could not say that she has been combative to her before. Kat could not vouch that, okay, yes, she was combative with me. We have been in a combative situation. No, you haven't been in a combative situation with her, Jessica. But you, because Chris has said, oh, she's combative. Oh, so if Chris has said it and the guy said it, that means she must be combative. No, that's not how we work. That's not how it works. And I literally did like Sierra on this interview because she raised some points. Especially the part where she talked about the fact that everybody has to agree that everybody comes in a relationship with a different experience. You might meet a guy and the guy is a total douchebag to you. But this guy will meet another lady tomorrow and he becomes the perfect father, the perfect husband, the perfect baby daddy, and everything that he wasn't to you. That is your experience. And when you are telling people this guy was a this to me, this guy was shit, this guy was this to me, and everybody will dismiss your feelings. It's not because you just want to. The thing is that that was how your experience was with him. Just because right now every other the person is with the experience is different doesn't disvalue your experience with the person. You're speaking on your own experience and nobody else's. That is the thing. Respect the experiences of others.
What Aries said, I do agree on that. I feel like if I was Mariah, and I hate to throw him under the bus, but if I was him, I would have said either one, say it directly on who said it, or don't say it at all and have a private conversation with you. Because he could have had made a choice to not say that. And I'm just gonna be 100% real. That's because my man ain't gonna be saying it. Like don't be embarrassing me. Or whatever the case.
This is the reason why I said I did like Sierra in this interview because she said the truth. Moria, like I said, I blamed Moria in my review of the episode last week, which is the truth. If somebody tells you something, especially with somebody that you know that the both of you are having connection together, you and Jessica has been trying to create a connection together. Then someone comes and say, "Oh, she's combative," and you've not had that combative this thing with her. Like what Sierra said, I expected you to go to her, say something as in secret, one on one, when you guys are in one on one, have a discussion with her and said, "This is what was said about you on the show. They said you were combative." That is what he should have done. And I agree with Aries any day, anytime, and I'm happy that somebody else agrees with it. Because he was in the wrong in the way he was just like, oh, people were in the lounge were saying you were combative, knowing that you were trying to get to know this person was the wrongest thing Maury should have done. Like I said, I put all the blame on Maury. Maury coming outside to say that was not the bestest of things, and he fucked up doing that. And the fact that he still came out playing the victim literally pissed me off. But one thing I realized in this YouTube video she did is that of course, there is hate between the both of them. Although hate is a strong word, but there's dislike between the both of them. They don't like each other. I don't think they will stick up for each other. I don't think they want to be near each other or their surroundings. So the dislike is there. But I understand where she's come from the fact that this guy was acting like a coward. Because even in a digital exclusive, we saw Lee asking him, "Did you call this girl combative?" And he flat out lied. And I'm like, if you can lie to somebody that is your connection like that, what else can you be lying about? That like gives me the ick because if you can lie directly to your connection, I feel like Lee is surely not on the side of Jessica and Janelle. So I'm not sure she would have been that hard on him if he says yes, I did say it, but explained what he really meant or how he felt when he said combative. But he flat out said, I didn't say that. He doesn't know. Like he acted as if he doesn't even know what combative means. So that alone is like a ding, 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 ding in my head. Like, is this guy for real? but we know that there is this lie between the both of them. I don't know whether it will ever really get resolved. Since they've already shot the reunion and everything, I can't literally wait for the reunion to see how things will play out. But when it came to Sierra, she talked about a lot of things. She said she's working towards being more on reality TV shows. She actually said she met up with Carlos King. And I'm like, is Carlos King the person you should be meeting up with?
To the Carlos King.
Just come out.
Yes, I did.
Yeah.
I did LA for Beyonce. So I was able to meet with him, and he was confirmations. Also, my friend Kevin Leroy, who's also on Black Ink and stuff like that. So me and him actually are really good friends, been friends for years.
Yeah.
There was just a lot of positive energy. They were basically telling me, hey, there might be a shift in your presence. I feel like TV might be a thing for me. I've always been a behind the scenes girl. As much as people think that my personality is so big, so blah blah blah, I've always dressed people to be in that spotlight.
So she spoke about the fact that she spoke with Carlos King, although I'm not a huge fan of Carlos King, and like she really wants to be more in reality TV. And I loved her because she has this sense of humor that is funny, interesting. I think she would really be good for TV. So if that's what she's aiming for, let her pursue it. Although the place she's going to, I'm not a fan of Carlos. I literally don't like the show he brings up. But if she wants to continue in reality TV, let her go ahead. And she also talked about the fact of the game night where they played. They talked about if she had sex with, women, and she like said it out. And she got pissed out at the producers because the way they made it seem as if she was just too eager, like outing her. She felt like that was unfair to her because there were so many other questions that was asked during that game night that didn't come out, and they now made it look as if she was, flirty, just a loose person, and she didn't like that representation of her. Even also the way they represented her when she was told that she was to leave the show, she was not ready to love, and the way they made it look as if she was too goofy, and it made it look as if Tommy was irritated by her. But the truth is that Tommy was not irritated by her. Tommy was like, oh, I love your comic side, I'm going on the road, I'm going on tour very soon, you have a place you can join me. And she was like, oh no, comedy is not for me. But she said she didn't like the way they painted her, and that from the beginning she always knew that um she said from the beginning she always knew that none of the guys were for her. She always knew that none of the guys, from the first day she entered into the I've forgotten that event. She realized that none of the guys were for her, and but she so many times she has wanted to always quit, but she couldn't quit because you know probably they told her she shouldn't quit, and that Jessica was even saying that she was surprised that she's stuck out for that long without quitting. And I'm like, if somebody is in a show and you're not feeling the love, you're not feeling any of the guys, why would you tell the person not to quit? Of the shortest thing was to tell the person to quit the show instead of making her feel the way she felt. And she also complained about the fact that we always saw her on wigs. She was like, she only wore the wig for one day, and she planned on always showing her short hair, because we know her. When you follow her on Instagram, she's always on her short hair. And they said no, she can't do that because she has already stayed on wig, so she has to be on wig. I'm like, why? It's a reality TV show. It's supposed to be your reality. I hate it when reality TV shows turn into something else. If her reality is that she prefers to being on a short hair than wearing a wig, why did you stop her on being on the short hair? Allow her be free. Allow her to show her reality to every one of us, because that is what we want to watch. But they actually asked her that she had to be on those wigs. Like, it isn't fair. It isn't fair at all. And the way she was portrayed, she didn't like how she was portrayed. But she's happy that a lot of people know her, personal people know her, that and they know her that she is not like that. But coming back to the Chris and Jessica stuff, I will say it once again. Chris and Jessica are both combative. Chris and Jessica are both wrong. Chris and Jessica need help. They both have anger issues, even if one is no anger but cool headed, and the other one is hot headed. At the end of the day, that combative word is suitable for the both of them. And the earlier the both of them realize that, yes, Jessica realized, yes, I'm being combative, and Chris realized I'm being combative, and also realized that he was wrong in using that word combative, especially knowing that you are on TV, you're on air. She would have felt a certain way because she is a businesswoman who will still have to meet people, and people watch the show, and people hear that, oh, she's combative, and she also complained about that, and she was like, being a businesswoman on the field, going out, and people hear that they say I'm combative, even if they've not had that experience with me. People will be like, I don't want to hire her, I heard she's combative, I don't want to work with her because I heard it's combative. That's like a stigma that you have put on top of her because of one single word that you did not think twice before saying, that might ruin somebody's life, and be like, oh, please, let's not work with her, she's combative. Let's not work with her because she's combative. That has already started ruining her reputation. So she said that was what she was scared of, because it's a big show. It's a show that people love and people watch. Then coming to say that kind of word to a black woman that is building up her business and say she's combative, that is really bad, because she felt a certain kind of way. A lot of people would have been looking at her in one light, which they did. I saw a lot of people judge her after the episode aired, called her different names, looked down on her. And I'm like, this would have easily been, over if the both of them had just communicated with each other. It would have been over if the both of them had communicated with each other. All this would have been over. But it didn't, because the both of them are prideful, and the both of them are also combative. They could have easily just have this chat, and just forget everything. But they didn't. And she said that is what she regrets, because she feels like if if she had had that conversation with Chris, probably it wouldn't have gotten to that extent, to where it was, if she had just told Chris, see what is going on, see what is going on, see how things are going. Let's have this chat, let me explain how it is going. And for those ladies that after the ladies lounge, you go and tell the guy, as in, I felt bad that in a ladies lounge that is supposed to be secured, where you know I can freely talk about myself, somebody is somewhere after me talking, going to tell them, this is what I said. Like, it it doesn't make sense. When I heard that somebody went to tell Chris what she said on the ladies lounge, it felt like that secret place that I felt I was safe is gone. Because I feel like this is a place I feel safe. This is a place I feel like I should feel secured to say what I feel, talk about how I feel. But at the end of the day, they don't allow it, and they go and spread my word to them. And the way they even said it, we don't know whether she really did say conspire. But they say when there is gossip, there's always added gist, added condiment to it. Before it gets to the person's ear, there's already a lot of addition and subtraction from the real story. So the person taking it from the ladies' lounge and going to put it in Chris's ears is the part of the problem. Because if that person hadn't said whatever he or she said in the way that he or she said to Chris wouldn't have come to her with that so much high energy like he did. He wouldn't have come with her with so much energy. But he did that because somebody told him, oh, she said this thing about you, and he was pissed off. And he came there pissed off. Well, I just hope that literally, although I know they're not really in talking terms because they don't follow themselves on Instagram, and the way she spoke, I don't think anything positive is going on with them. Anyway, I just hope they resolve these issues. Like, let's see whether we'll hear from Chris to hear his own version, because Jessica just dropped our own version. Let's see whether we'll hear from Chris to say his own version. Well, guys, thank you for hanging out with us. Don't forget to like and comment on our video. Don't forget to click on the subscription button down below to subscribe. You can also join our membership. Also, send the super stickers and super chats is very appreciated to support the channel. We'll see you guys next time.